you were talking earlier about another bill or a series of bills that had just passed in the state legislature.
Well, the governor.
I was just going to ask you if you could explain those, and then also to say what you think the connection is between the mayoral takeover and these other reforms.
Yeah, see, what there was one of the bills for the race to the top was to give the state superintendent power to, in failing school districts in the state, all school districts, that if a school has been identified as a school in trouble and is failing, the superintendent can go into that school district and basically tell them what they have to do. I mean, he could just go in and just say, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. You know, that overrules the board. They don't wipe them out, but he'll give them some direction, and then they gotta do it. The board and the administration, there's no question, they gotta do it. I don't have too much of a problem, I guess, if it was gonna be fair. And so right now, the bill says the state superintendent will have power over all school districts with this bill. But I understand there are some other legislators who don't want the state superintendent having this power over their school board. And so there's been some talk about, let's just only make it applicable to Milwaukee again.
Right.
See, they're sneaking this in. Now, we didn't vote on this last November because there were legislators who did not want to give the state superintendent that kind of power. So that bill was pulled. We didn't vote on it last month. Now we're going to vote on it? So I feel like, now I've been here 30 years, so I know the games. We're going to introduce it that include all the school districts. But when the time comes to vote, miraculously, the only school district that it's going to apply to is Milwaukee, along with the takeover. See, you get the other school district legislators to vote for this takeover by saying, we'll take your school district out if you would just vote with us, and we'll do it to Milwaukee. And I'm telling you, that's how they end up getting the vote. Because, well, if you don't vote with us to take the takeover from Milwaukee, then we're going to include your school district in that Evers can come in and mess over you all, just like he going to come and mess over Milwaukee.
You know, it's ironic because I ran against Tony Evers. He never mentioned this in the campaign.
And he never mentioned it. I talked to him, and in fact, I talked to him about even the takeover, and he said that, oh no, he's not even, that's not something that's on his agenda.
I asked him at a fundraiser in Milwaukee specifically, are you in favor of the mayoral takeover? And he said no.
Yeah, that's what he told me too. And then, as soon as he got the job, all of a sudden, all three of them is coming. And like you said, I just suspect that this is what's going to happen here. That the fact that they're bringing it up now when we couldn't do it last month, but we can do it in December, is because some kind of deal has been cut. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just telling you. And then the fact that the governor says we're going to combine the takeover and the superintendent's authority in the same bill. Now that's a kiss of death. If it was going to be one bill, and included, and Evers is going to have this power over all 426 school districts. I know that the other legislators ain't going to vote for that. And I can't see them combining the two. The only way I can see them combining the two is that some kind of deal is cut, and when it's all over, the only place Evers is going to have the power to do that is going to be Milwaukee.
That's
so along
the
with
Journal Sentinel today, you said.
That was the way it read in the paper of the Journal Sentinel this morning. That at the present, they said.
In a limited
It was
way,
just
just a
Milwaukee
few school
and just
districts.
these 5 schools, I believe.
Yeah.
It said what now again? It said, because I wasn't home, I haven't been home since yesterday.
That the bill at the present time would just apply to Milwaukee, and then it was 5 schools that were listed that
Only 5 schools would be
did
affected by it. It would
that would
apply
be
statewide, but only 5 schools.
determined,
Right.
controlled.
And
by
those
the
5
superintendent.
schools are in Milwaukee?
Yeah, it's like Bayview, Pulaski.
Like a pilot program
Yeah,
to start it
I'm
off.
trying to remember.
the 3 high schools and 2 middle schools.
Yeah.
all in Milwaukee.
Right.
And so it's not a statewide,
At the present time.
well, no, if it's in the paper for just 5 schools in Milwaukee. But then again, you gotta look at all the other stuff that's in the bill, because like, that's what the paper said, but if you looked at the whole bill, you'll probably see other kinds of stuff in there.
I think one of them had failed, like over 5 years, failed to meet
Right.
what they
Whatever.
were supposed to meet, and the other 4 were in need of
Okay,
improvement.
but you know, those are not the only schools in the state, because here Madison is in that, Madison, Racine, Beloit is, have schools are lower performing than MPS.
Like,
They're lower in the racial gap. Now, here's just a little supplement to the Cap Times, and they talk about this young lady who is a Madison student, and she's made it in spite of. And I want to just read what it says. Why aren't there more Deidre Greens? The university student excelled in Madison Public Schools despite a statewide achievement gap that is one of the worst in the nation.
oh my goodness.
Now, this is what it says about Madison. Okay?
Yes.
How come they're not talking about taking over Madison then? How come Madison's not even in the state superintendent? Here, he's right down the street. Here in Madison. So it's one of the worst in the nation. See now, how come they picking on Milwaukee? Yes, sir.
Well, because it's not really about changing the achievement gap. That's not what the takeover is about. It's about creating enclaves of middle-class schools to appeal to middle class and especially white students. And it isn't about closing the racial gap. That's just rhetoric.
Right.
So that's and that proves it.
And then it feeds into some people's psyche that, you know, African American students and students of color are just inherently dumb and stupid, and that we're dragging down, and that you got to do something about that, Milwaukee, because it's just a bunch of stupid kids. That's the advertisement for us. But look, this is what it says about. Now, when I saw, usually I throw a magazine, I get so much space, but when I saw this, I said, no, I'm saving this. I'm going to show people. It said, one of the worst in the nation. So let's include Madison in this takeover. Let's include Madison in the superintendent coming in and taking over this district, because this is one of the worst in the nation.